Do 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 do. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, and how y'all doing today? Again, just like the leftovers, your eyes do not deceive you. I have finally gotten myself in the position to start reviewing Doctor Who Season 9 again after a very long hiatus. The last one I did was May 15th, 2020. I rewatched my review that I made back then. And what it did was it made me feel real bad. And not because of the content of the episode. Again, if you haven't watched the Leftovers review, we'll recap a little bit. So we had been reviewing a bunch of things. Doctor Who Season 9 among them. And I have a subscriber who paid me, paid the channel to finish covering Doctor Who because I didn't know how I was going to watch it. There was a whole thing with Prime losing Doctor Who. And because of the difficulties that I was having in 2020, due to the strains because of the COVID virus, I stopped covering everything. And when I reviewed the Face the Raven episode, that was the last one I did, and I never finished it. And rewatching my review made me remember I have a debt to pay. But that's not why I was going to continue to do Doctor Who. I wanted to finish the Capaldi run. In fact, we were supposed to start doing the Capaldi run back in February, but then I lost internet for 2 months. And then once the internet finally came back on, it was Handmaid's Tale time, and Mayor of Easttown, and Underground Railroad, and I got caught up in all of that. But now all that stuff's over. And so it's time to finally honor my obligation, not just to myself, but to the subscriber, and to everybody else that watched these, and also to just try to stop doing something that I tend to do, which is I start something and I don't finish it on the channel sometimes. I get distracted. I see a new toy, as in like a new show or something, and I go after that, and I put things on the shelf. And I really want to make sure that I finish the Leftovers for sure, and Doctor Who, the Capaldi run. They may not be coming out every week. They might be every 2 weeks or so, but we are going to spend as much time as we have to finish those two series, and hopefully maybe get back to some of the other stuff that we were covering on the channel. None of this is big for my channel. And that, I have to, like I always say that I want to talk about things that I love talking about. And I want to make sure that I don't just become a channel that only covers the stuff that I know is going to get views and likes and subscribers. I want to make sure that I always stay true to one of those major tenets of the channel, which is talk about what you're passionate about. And right now, I want to get back into the passion that I had in talking about Doctor Who, because that was the one problem I was having trying to get this started again, was how do I get back into it, because it's such a complicated world. It's got so much lore, and I'd forgotten a lot. 2020 really took its toll. And so I rewatched the review. I just rewatched the episode. I even thought about maybe having to go back and rewatch a lot more. But thankfully, this is such a strong episode that I don't need to go backwards. to make this review. And we are reviewing it again. We are recovering Face the Raven because I want to I want to look at it with fresh eyes. It's been over a year and about a month, just over a month since I watched this episode. It's been a year and over a month since I watched any Doctor Who. And so for Belinda, this is for you, and I hope, that even though I've already done this review once, hopefully this is a sign that we're returning to honor that commitment. But also a pleasure, because I really enjoyed watching this again, and I really enjoyed taking all the notes again. And I did happen to see some things and notice some things and take some different notes this time for this episode. So yeah, I mean, this is the big, Clara death episode. And it did not lose any of its impact. Except to say that, knowing what's going to happen, I guess, kind of limits that. It just didn't make it any easier to watch it happen all over again. What I really liked about this was understanding a little bit more about the companion relationship that the Doctor has with each one. But also just understanding companions in general, right? Is that they're just, everyday people. And they somehow stumble into the Doctor's world. And how slowly but surely they, become a part of it. They become intertwined with it. They create their own adventures. They, like in this, when she talks about Jane Austen, we know that Clara's having her own adventures. And in what seems like a little amount of time, right? These people are taken on a journey that transforms them. The Doctor is not human. And, he's got these human with him, and how the experience of having a human companion with them, with a Doctor, how it changes them. And it shows the capacity for humans to, what we're really capable of. Now, yes, the companions all happen to be women. I don't know. Have there been male companions? That's something I don't know. I would assume that, I almost have a feeling like that female companions are probably a newer thing. I haven't done the research on that, but it almost feels like there would have been mostly male companions back in the time before, we can't let women be on TV that much. But maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comment section. I know you will. And I want to know the information. But this kind of sums up Clara in a nutshell, this episode. She's been through a lot. She's been through the ringer. And with the loss of Danny Pink, she's been taking a lot of risks. And, like she says in the episode, maybe this is what I've been building towards. This was where my journey was kind of headed. And so she's always, she's a teacher, first off, right? So she's interested in educating people. And when she's given this situation where this, guy, Riggsy, that she knows, who's got a newborn baby, he's got a death sentence put on him because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time for this, cool-ass Diagon Alley for Aliens Street. It's a hidden place, a human standing over a dead body. They needed a scapegoat to keep the peace. And this poor fella ends up with a death sentence that turns out it was all just a ruse. This is all just a ruse. That me made a deal with some other aliens to get the Doctor there so that the street that she's protecting would stay safe. And that's a pretty interesting thing because where they start off with Me's character here as Mayor Me, played greatly, by Maisie Williams. She comes off as pretty bad, pretty above it all, and kind of rightfully so. Being an immortal, you would have probably a big sense of detachment when everybody you knew when you were, you know, before being immortal, they're all dead. You've outlived everyone in history, except for like people like the Doctor. And so there would have to be this kind of detachment. How do you stay attached to any kind of world? Well, I think planting yourself in a street like this, building a community where you're there to help, give sanctuary and refuge to aliens that have nowhere else to go, at least would give you some sort of, I don't know, like a routine almost, a place in the world. Well, people will come and go and live and die. You'll have a purpose here. I think would be important to somebody that's immortal. That otherwise you'd be like Dr. Manhattan, you know what I mean? Like where you have no kind of like tether to the world. So when we find out that really she made this deal to get the Doctor here and nobody was supposed to get hurt, yeah, that's a much better arc for this character other than just I've lived forever, now I'm evil. Unfortunately, when Clara takes the chronolock for Rigsy, thinking that this is just, as soon as they find out that I've got it, it'll all be just taken away. She was thinking strategy. She was thinking I could save Rigsy and solve the problem because I'm me and we always get out of these things. And it was a great selfless thing to do, yet another risky move that she's been making. Like, when we see her hanging out of the TARDIS, and laughing and everything, it's been a constant thing. The Doctor mentions this, One of the things I really like that I wanted to talk about just quickly is when they're talking about the streets and the secret pockets of alien life and they're going to kind of detective mode for a little while. When they talk about why, like on maps, people would take like their kids' names, make a fake street, and if it ever showed up on a map again, somebody knew that it was like a fake, right? And that the Doctor saying that, streets up and disappear and you humans are worried about copyright infringement. I thought that was really funny. I think it's pretty meta for this review since I now do my own theme song so I don't get a copyright claim on my videos. Which I hope you guys enjoy, even though, look, I couldn't monetize any of these videos because they always copyright claim me. So I'm singing my own songs. I'm humming my own theme music. Another fun thing in this episode is the flashcards that he uses. He's trying to find the right one to tell Rigsy he's about to die. I always thought that was really funny. Using the term retconned for an amnesia drug. There's some meta stuff going on in this episode. I love all these cool, science, like magical alien science things like quantum shades and chronolocks. But in the end, this is showing how Clara did a stupid thing for a good reason and pays the price. And it's heartbreaking. But at the same time, like it says here, let me be brave, she takes it like a champ. Because she understands that if she doesn't, face the Raven, this whole thing about the street, right? That these people have built this thing and why this even became a thing, right? Was if the aliens start pointing fingers at themselves, then this whole thing, the center doesn't hold, everything falls apart. And when we find out that the Janice is not dead, and that it was all to get his key, all these things start to fall into place, which makes it even more heartbreaking when she reveals that she's got the chronolock on. They get everything from him. They get the confession dial. And when she finds out that there was a deal, that you can transfer it, but see, when she took the chronolock off, she had made a deal with the quantum shade. And once she changed it, she was cut out of the deal. And now nothing can change about it. Now, again, I know, I guess people don't like, again, I mentioned this in the last video, people don't like seeing the Doctor get all mad. But again, I love it because I like that there's that part of him underneath all of this that he tries to hold back. That if you don't do something about this, I'll show your street to the world. I will rain hell on you. The Doctor is no longer here. You're stuck with me. I love that. And then on the flip of it, to when Clara steps in, the change of this, his rage to heartbreak. I should have taken care of you. You shouldn't have had to ask. And her, again, not just trying to save Rigsy, but now trying to save the Doctor when she faces imminent death, when she knows that there's nothing else to do, when she knows she's going to die no matter what. She's still trying to save someone, and that someone is the Doctor. Telling him that don't let this change you. Don't become a monster. Don't be a warrior. Be a doctor. And that's, really important. Now, whether or not since I haven't seen Heaven Sent, and people tell me it's pretty good, I don't know what's about to happen. But in the end, she faces the Raven. She dies. It's horrible again, all over again, watching this. And he tells, me, again, she didn't just save Rigsy in this. She didn't just save the Doctor. She didn't just save the street where all these aliens are, that these people who don't appreciate humanity, hopefully me will tell them what a human did for them. But also, Clara was saving me herself. Because if she didn't tell the Doctor to take this order to not change, to be yourself, the Doctor tells me, Isildur, if I'm saying that right, she wasn't saving me, she was saving you. Because if you don't stay out of my way, the universe is a very small place when I'm angry with you. And I'm not going to go into any further detail about this. This is just, again, I wanted to use this chance to revisit this episode, talk about some things maybe I didn't cover better in the last time. But, so anyway, we will be back with Heaven Sent. We're going to get to that next week. And so this is just my commitment, a recommitment to finishing Doctor Who Season 9. I know it's been said before, and all I can do is just do it. And then hopefully regain some of the trust that I might have lost with some of you because of my flakiness with some of my review schedules. But we're trying really hard to get back on track after everything that's gone on in the past year or so. So, if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. If you hated every single thing that I just said, or do not care about my apology and you'd like to forget the last 19 minutes of this, well, we can give you a better memory. And just like the Doctor, I got my own little tools. We will set this back 19 minutes or so, and we will give you a better memory. Oops. First, you got to hit the button. You just went back in time and watched an episode before Clara died. Have a great day, everybody.